I'm Jamie Rodgers and I'm here today to show you some more inspiration with my hand-picked by Jamie bundle for May 2022. Now hopefully you've already got this and you can hopefully craft along with me. If you haven't heard or seen our bundle for this month yet, then you're missing out, because this is an incredible bundle at a ridiculous price. We have a whole host of goodies for you. They're worth £62.78 and you can purchase them in a bundle for less than half price at just £30. That also includes free UK delivery, which is just bonkers. So if you haven't ordered this already, you might want to jump on and get it, and then we can come back and craft along together. So I'll show you a little bit about the bundle. I'm going to do this very quickly because we do have a much larger release video that will come out on the 1st of May on our YouTube channel, and it will go into more details about each of the components. So very quickly, in our handpicked by bundle, we're going to feature heavily the Where Wild Roses Grow collection by Paper Tree, and I've picked a few components from that set to really bring together the bits that I really like. So we have the Essential Card collection. So a quick little flick through here shows you that you've got lots of lovely colours and patterns and flat card to work on. This is all uncoated, so you could be adding more to it, stamping on top of them if you want to. You then have your decorative paper collection. So these are really nice full-on decorative papers for you to use as well. These are going to come in really handy for the project we're making today. We then have for you a die cut topper collection full of floral panels and wording and little components that can be built up and used that match in perfectly with all of our different papers and card sets that we have already gone through. To go with those, we have our Cosmic Shimmer Crystal Lacquer. Now this is a clear varnish, which is going to make these really lovely and shiny, so we can use them over the top of them. It's also a really good medium to coat over your card and paper if you wish to sprinkle on glitters and bits like that, because it's just going to drive quite a nice varnished finish to it. We then have some matching pearls that go into this bundle. These are going to coordinate perfectly with the die I'm about to show you, because they will fit perfectly inside the little apertures going around here on our Sue Wilson aerial die. Now this is a 4 die set which has got a lot in there. We then have a dotty background die for you, again by Sue Wilson. This is a really lovely large background die, and it's actually going to stay in your cardstock one I think you're going to use an awful lot. And then on top of that we have 3 ribbons, and you're going to get ½ metre of each of our 3 pink ribbons, and they're going to coordinate perfectly obviously with the papers that are in our bundles. And that completes your May handpicked by bundle. Should be £62.78, but is only £30 including free UK delivery. If you do live outside the UK and wish to receive it, that's no problem. Just pop onto our website and you can have a little look under the customer service tab, where it will tell you all about how we send around the world. Very easy to do, no problem. Here, by the way, is a few cards I've created with this, just to give you a bit of a glimpse of what you can be doing. And then I'll show you the project that we're going to be doing today. We teased this on our launch video, and I hope that it's gone down well. I'll be honest, we're filming this at the same day as we filmed the launch video, so I haven't yet got to see your responses, but I'm hoping this is something you've been looking forward to seeing and learning how to create. This is going to be one of our collapsible style cards. Now, you may have seen some of my blog posts on our website, or you may have seen our pins on Pinterest about these, or you may have also found the Construct with Jamie YouTube collection. I never know what these are all called. Technology and me don't go together very well, but we do have a host of videos on YouTube where I make different constructions, and this is a version of one of those that we've done. This all collapses down, so it folds down relatively flat to pop into an envelope or a little small box maybe, especially with the flowers, they're a bit 3D. But it's more about giving you the idea of how you could create and what you could create. And I'm going to give you the sizes today to make it exactly the same as this, but there's no reason why we couldn't do it smaller, larger, add in more pages if you wanted to, less pages. Honestly, the choices are just endless. It's down to how you want to create what you wish to do. You could even make pages coming out this side as well and do different things like that. So lots and lots and lots of options on how you could work with it. But let's jump in and have a little look. So what we're going to need to begin with is our pillars. Now in this project we need 3 of these to do our main construction with. Now if you've seen me do this before, this won't come as any major shock to you. We're going to be working in inches for these. We need a 5-inch piece of card by 6.5 inches. Now the 6.5 is in reference to the height. Every panel we talk about from here on in is going to be 6.5 inches. It doesn't matter if we're talking about our side panels, our panels which are coming out between our layers, or our pillars. Everything is 6.5 inches, but the width for them is 5 inches. Now if you want to make these bigger, you can do. So if you want bigger pillars or smaller pillars, if you like more detailed pillars, not a problem. But what I've done is scored them at 1 inch and broke this up into 5 equal pieces. I'm then going to take my bone folder and I'm going to go across and I'm going to burnish each one of them creases so that they're nice and in place and ready for me to start folding and playing with this card. So we're going to break all of those in. We're going to bring in some wet glue. Now I like to use Cosmic Shimmer Dries Clear Glue, which is this one. I've decanted it into some smaller bottles, which of course both of these you can find on our website. They're products that we stock at Craftmania. And I'm going to take the glue and I'm going to pop it out, just going down the side here of my pillar. And then I'm going to pop that down, holding it flat, and bring over my last panel. So we have glued our first and our 5th piece together. Now it's always worth at this stage just checking that that's going to move in both directions nice and freely. So that means everything is level and nothing is going to get in the way, because we need to make sure that all 3 of our panels are happy to move in the same direction all at the same time. So we need to make sure they're level and ready to go. So once we have our panels in place, we need to then bring in our pieces that we're going to work on. So we're going to start here with our back panel and we're going to glue this onto our first pillar. Now my back panel here, again, of course, is 6.5 inches in height and it's 8.25 inches in width. You can change that. This is completely optional. Don't feel you've got to be the same as mine, but 8.25 that way. We're going to take our first pillar and we're going to put our glue across it. And we're going to pop that onto the end here. And I wanted my papers to appear from inside my pillars. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. But these are just some of the pillars that we're going to work with, or some of the papers that we're going to work with. We're then going to take our next piece and we're going to bring that one in. We're going to add some more glue on the top of the pillar. And we're going to go down the side there. We're going to bring this in and we're going to pop that onto the top. Now the panel on this one, this has been embossed with our Radiant Rings embossing folder. Don't buy that just yet. This is coming off in one of our future hand-picked by bundles. So I don't want you to go ahead and buy that off of the website now, because you're going to pay full price for it. So a little sneaky between me and you, little reward for watching the video. I can tell you that's coming up on one of our future hand-picked by bundles, and it's going to be a lot less expensive for you to buy it in that format than going ahead and buying it now separately. We're then going to take our next pillar and we're going to do exactly the same again. We're going to pop some glue on one side of it. No real trick here as to what pillars we put where or what sides, because we're going to cover the majority of them up. We're going to make sure that that's nice and level across the back here. We want them to be nice and squared here. Again, feel free at any time to flatten it down and just make sure that everything is nice and in place. We're going to bring that up and we're going to make sure that that's happy to sit where it needs to be. And we're all level. This is one of the reasons I like to use wet glue. A lot of people who do construction use red liner tape. Again, you can do that. It's not a problem. If you would like to know it's in place and ready to go with that second, fine. But I like the wiggle that I can get with a bit of glue. If I'm slightly out of line, it will move back into place. For my next panel, going on to this level, we're going to use a panel which is 5.25 inches in width, 6.5 inches in height, obviously, 5.25 in width, and we're going to pop that one on to the next level. Again, we can squidge down, just make sure that we're all still level across the bottoms and the tops of our papers, and that everything is still collapsing where it needs to be. We're then going to bring in our third and final pillar, and we're going to put on more glue, exactly the same as we did to the last two. And we're going to pop that one on top of these ones. Just building. This is why I say we could go on for as many as we want to. You could go as high up or as low as you want them to be. And stop at any point that you wish to. Don't feel you've got to do exactly the same as I have. So I'll flatten that one down. And I'll bring that up again. And then we're going to bring in our top panel. So this one is just 3 inches in width. 3 inches in width, obviously, 6.5 inches in height. Again, we're going to pop our glue on the side here. And we're going to pop that down. Now this panel, why I'm gluing this on, if you wanted to, and if you knew where you were heading before you began, which is something I very rarely know that I'm going to do, but if you know that you're going to make this exact project, in a second we're going to take a panel and we're going to glue it on the side here so that it keeps our cubes straight, and it's something I've come up with which helps a little bit, but we'll talk more in a second why. The point is we're going to take a panel which is just over 3 inches and stick it on the side. If you wanted to, you could have made this panel 6 inches or just over 6 inches. You'll measure it, play around with it, but you can keep your top panel and your side panel all as one piece, and it will stop there being a join on this corner. I personally don't mind any joins because it's construction and that's how it all works. I'm really not worried. But if you wanted to, you could. With that same idea in mind, if you could get hold of big enough sheets of card, which is, I'm sure you can. I know in store we carry A3 and A1. We don't sadly do them online, but if you're local to one of our stores and you'd like to collect them, that's no problem. And if you've got a way to cut it, which can be tricky, but if you can get a big enough piece of card, so you can do the 8 1/4 panel at the back here, the slightly over 3 inch panel on the side there, and the 3 inch panel on the front, so what we're looking at, about 14.5 inches, you could make that part all out of one piece of card and then sink your pillars into the inside of it. Just to give you a different idea, and hopefully that isn't too confusing, but it would give you a bit more structure to it and possibly a more professional finish, but the choice is yours. We're then going to take our side piece. Now, as I mentioned, I've made quite a few of these and I've found different pluses and minuses to them. If we don't put a side panel on them, or if we do put a side panel on them and we come to push them down, all 3 of our cubes are going to work at the same time in the same motion because they have that panel keeping them in place. With this one at the moment, and this can be both a positive and a negative, each of our cubes can collapse in different directions. So it can go down and look quite smart because it's all going to match in, but it doesn't all go down in one way. And then when we build it up, we've got to try and tease them out so that they're all back to being a square. And this end can be a little uneven. Equally, if we wish to stand this, it has a lot less support because there's not as much construction to it. There's not them pieces holding it in place. So if instead we come in and we bring in this panel, and as I mentioned, it is slightly over 3 inches because although each of our panels, each of our pillars, is 1 inch in width, by the time we've glued them together, we've inevitably added just that little bit more depth to them. So I have measured this and it is about 3 inches and 1/8 of an inch. But play around and see how you get on. But we're going to bring this in and we're going to pop it on the side just to neaten up that edge. And by doing so, we're going to add a bit more support to our project. We can flatten it down and make sure it still goes down. We can bring that back up and just make sure that we're in place. And then we have our edge done. Now, one of the nice bits about this as well, when we talk about support, when we tried to stand that up without that bottom bit in place, all 3 of them pillars seem to want to go in different directions. If I bring in the one we've done, now bear in mind I've decorated mine to stand like so. If we wish to, we can actually stand that up and it will keep its shape. I haven't done a time test to see how long and if it gives way in any amount of time, but it certainly gives quite an impactful finish why it's standing there at this stage. And it gives us more options again to build different scenes or different styles, or use our edging dies on each one of these to give them more shapes. There's a lot more we could do with this in scope, especially with your bundle and all your paper pads. But if we bring it in and we finish this one off, so we've got added on our different panels ready to work with, we've done our major construction, we can then bring in our different pieces. So these are our aerial dies. Now I've got a head already, I've cut them out of white cardstock, I've added just a small amount of foam tape onto the back of them, and we're going to start plopping these on wherever we wish to. So we're going to add one on the front here, we're then going to go onto the next panel down and we're going to add that one in slightly more towards the bottom of the card. And then we're going to add one on our next panel in. Now I'm happy for this to protrude out the side if it needs to be, but it looks as if it's okay. I think we can tuck that onto the side. There we go. And I'm going to try and leave a little bit of room up here because I know I want to put a flower up in that area. Now, in with your bundle as well, we get these lovely panels which are already full of sentiments. So we have happy birthday, and we're going to bring that in and we're going to pop that on that one. We're going to use on your special day, and we're going to use this on the front one. Going on top of the aerial die. And then this is one of the bits I love, and I did mention this in our launch video, but these scalloped edges match perfectly with your aerial die. So if we bring that in and we match that up, that is going to fit perfectly on top there, and it just complements the shape of the die as well. And then to finish this, all we're going to do is add some flowers. So for our flowers, we are going to use the Cosmos flower set. And I just wanted to show you one of mine being shaped, because I'm sure you've seen this before, but it's one of the things I really like to do with my flowers. Doesn't matter which set I'm using, but this today is the Cosmos set. You're going to find this on the website. One of the good bits of this set is it's a Sue Wilson one, and it also has a matching stamp set. So if you wish to stamp and die cut them, you can have some really lovely details put onto your flowers. But all we're going to do is use our tweezers. We're going to hold the tweezers on the side of the petal, and we're going to twist down. We're going to move them into the middle point of the petal, and we're going to twist down. We're going to move them to the edge of the petal, and we're going to twist down. And we're going to do that across each one of our petals, and you're going to get quicker at this the more you do. But it's just going to crimple our petal and give us a bit more texture, a bit more depth, a little bit more of a 3D style to them. Just carry on working round. Please excuse my green thumb, by the way. You're getting a good close-up now of the green that is on my thumb. I've spent my day today, before filming these videos, playing with some pixie bursts for a show I'm about to do, which will have been and gone by the time you see this. But that is why I am partially green. So please forgive me for the colours. Once you have done that, we can then build these up, just offsetting them. So the good thing, or one of the good things with this set again, is that we have multiple sizes. So we've got a small, a medium and a large. They also give you lots of foliage in this set as well, which is one of the bits I really love. I love when you have your flowers to be able to build up big displays with them. And quite often I find that the flowers or the foliage can become quite repetitive. And I've mentioned this many, many times before. This set gives you the foliage going both in the left and the right direction. And there's also multiple different styles of foliage, or multiple different sizes of foliage. So if we look here, we can see how the leaf is curving to the left or to the right. And I think that just gives you a bit more freedom to add more into your collections without it looking a little bit similar. So we're going to bring in the big leaf, we're going to put some glue on the back of that, and we're going to poke that under our top flower. We're going to bring down another one of these and pop it going under that one. And because we've got this edge to work off of, we're going to go out over the edge as well. And then we're going to bring in, these are my favourite leaves. I love these. I think these are so delicate and so pretty. And again, you've got the left and the right in them as well. We're going to pop that going out over this side. And we're going to bring one coming in, and we're going to use this one so it cups up around that little sentiment panel. So we're going to put that into there. And then going to move that back to our last panel on our card, and we're going to bring in a matching flower, and we're going to pop that onto here. And obviously this one, if you wanted to put a big panel in there so you could write your message, your sentiments, your wording, you absolutely could do. If you don't want to, then you don't have to. Or if you prefer, you could put that on the back of the card, because I'll show you the reverse in a minute. But obviously we've got that nice 8 1/4 inch panel, which could certainly have something more added to it. Now, I'm not going to hold you up for this, but on my finished one, I've gone ahead and used some foam pads and just used the some gems that we have in your kit and put them into the middles of all 3 of the flowers. But hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea on how you could create this card quite simply, quite easily. Just all you need is a scoreboard, which of course you're going to find on the Craftmania website. We have them in centimetres or inches, so you can get on with those. And they're good as well, because they're big. I'm looking down there because I know I've got one here somewhere. But they're big boards. They're 12-inch boards. They also come with an envelope guide on them as well. And you get a score tool in it as well. So it's a really good board. And I believe at the moment they've got 15% off RRP. So if you are in the market for a scoreboard, do go and check those out. But all you need is a scoreboard, some glue, white card, and then preferably if you've got a bundle like this or a bit of a stash that you could work with, that's going to work really well for you. I mentioned I would show you the back of the cards. Obviously one's got my measurements right on the back of it, but there's no reason why on here we couldn't add in that panel to decorate on there with your sort of your loving messages to whoever's going to receive your card if you wish to. Once again, if you do want to collapse it down, if you've just joined the video, you can of course collapse them down, and then you can pop them into a box or an envelope depending on what you'd like to put them into. This one might be a little bit wet on our flowers, but I will collapse it down just so you can see there's no trickery. That can be done even with this one as well. And then again, it can be built so that your recipient can actually have that 3D effect. As a scrapbooker, I think these could be really fun to turn into mini albums as well, especially at Christmas, maybe as a present. It's certainly a concept that you could add in more details to if you wanted to. If you wanted these pages to be slightly more free moving, because they're obviously very rigid, you could score them at the 1 inch mark so you can actually sort of flick through them as well. So again, think of those as options. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's little video. If you do create one of these, we would love to see your version of it. So please do log on to our Facebook group, which is Create with Craftmania and Jamie Rodgers, and share us your versions. We genuinely would love to see what you're getting up to. If you have fell in love with the bundle and you would like to purchase that, then please pop onto our website, which is www.craftmaniacrafts.com. And you'll find it on there. There is a hand-picked by section, and you can purchase this bundle and some of our past ones. We are trying to keep every month in stock, and there are videos and blog posts to accompany every single one of them. Do keep an eye out for our design team members, who will also be releasing inspiration on our group and on our main Facebook page for Craftmania to give you a few more ideas along the way. If you have any questions about today or anything else we can help you with, then either pop onto the group or drop us your messages or your comments down in the comment section to this video. If you're watching on YouTube, please don't forget to hit subscribe and then hit that little bell so that you get the notifications. We do try and bring you videos as regularly as we can, and we would absolutely hate for you to miss out on one of them. If you'd like to order your bundle online, you can do. If you'd like to order it by phone, then Daphne is on standby ready to take your orders. We are open from 9 AM to 7 PM 7 days a week, and our phone number is 01493 843 666. Thank you so much for watching, and I really look forward to seeing you in June when we'll bring you our next bundle. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.